Stop masturbating today. Can you believe that? Can you even believe that you could stop masturbating? I mean, if you're watching this, you probably have tried. But I've been free for over 30 years. And I have taught thousands of men and women how to stop masturbating today. So you want to watch this because you're going to learn a lot today. Hi, I'm Dr. Doug Weiss. I'm the Executive Director of Heart to Heart Counseling Center in Colorado Springs, as well as the President of the American Association for Sex Addiction Therapy. And today's topic, how to stop masturbating today, isn't something I sat on a rock and am going to just give you some magical idea. I'm going to help you walk through this today. I've been doing this professionally for over 3 decades for 30 plus hours a week, stopping masturbation in its track for men and women. Now, before we get into this, there's a subscribe button. We've got lots of videos to help you in your life, okay? Please subscribe, it'll help you. There's a ton of information you can get there, especially if it's you or someone you're married to is struggling with this. And also there's this little comment box. Please write a comment. If you have a question, I will do my best to get to it as soon as possible. So please do that. We want to hear from you, and we want to be able to share back with you if you need just a little bit of maybe a comment or a step in your next direction. Now, how do you stop masturbating? Well, one of the things, you might want to watch our tape on the 6 types of sex addict because it may tell you why you masturbate. Okay, you might masturbate because it's just a habit you keep doing, and neurologically you've attached your sexuality to an object world. Ring the bell, feed the dog, ring the bell, feed the dog, and you're on this ring the bell, feed the dog track, which we're going to address in a few minutes. But if that's you, you know it's you. Pornography and fantasy is always a part of your masturbation. You don't masturbate to, because it's been so long and you masturbate a few times a year. You masturbate regularly. Okay, you are using masturbation to escape, to medicate, to deal with either sexual trauma, sexual addiction, medicating maybe even a chemical imbalance. You might need to deal with those issues, all right? And someone professionally can, probably within one session, tell you what type of sex addict you are, or go to sexaddict.com. There's a 6-type test. Once you know that, you can definitely help yourself. But see, you can stop masturbating today, but you might need to find out why. If you were sexually abused and you haven't told anybody, you're probably going to keep masturbating because you got a secret and you don't believe you're lovable. And so you can keep repeating that trauma in your life, okay? And so find out why you're masturbating would be a really good idea. If you're filling some kind of spiritual hole of wanting to be loved and wanted, okay, that could be that. Or maybe you were abandoned. Like I never met my dad. Maybe you never met your mom or dad. Maybe you were adopted. Maybe you feel worthless for whatever reason. Maybe you were sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally neglected. Maybe no one even liked you or made you part of their team or circle. And so you struggled with relationships. And so you created a whole fantasy world where you were loved and adored and worshipped, kind of like, Ready Player One. You put your little magic helmet on and you go to fantasy world with boo-boo mommy or boo-boo people and they tell you you're wonderful and they want you and you're the best ever and the biggest and the wonderful. And it's the only place as a teenager you got praise. And so you're almost addicted to the praise. Where else can you get that instant gratification, this instant acknowledgement, this instant celebration and worship of you on the real world? So maybe that's what's going on with you, and it's addictive, right? It's nice to feel wanted. It's nice to feel important, where people know your name, right? And in the fantasy world, if they know your name, man, you want to keep going back. It's kind of like going to your favorite pub or something, and you hang out with your buddies there, and they tell you, and they're beautiful, and then the pornography's become so amazingly available and easy, and it's so easily to be sexually aroused, and not to even do the work of caring for a woman or a man, and connecting to a woman or a man, and not having any responsibilities, and dealing with their flaws, and having tears and pains and attachments. No, you don't need to do any of that attachment stuff. So again, why you're masturbating, you're gonna need to find that out. But once you find it out, you can stop masturbating. Now I'm going to give you some real practical tips on how to shut this thing down. Okay, find out why, watch our tape on that, on the 6 Causes of Sex Addiction, or get the book, 6 Types of Sex Addict. It'll definitely help you out with that information. Now, once you establish the why, that can be helpful. But here's some practical stuff. Shut down the sources. If you've got television, you got an open cell phone, get a porn blocker. Get stuff to stop it coming to you. If you keep the doors of your supply open, you're going to keep using them. Every alcoholic would do the same. If they're like, oh, I got to stop alcohol, they stop going to the bars. Okay? You might have to change relationships. If there's people who are sending you emails about, big this and big that, and check that out and do this and, go to this thing, you might have to change some relationships. People who struggle with out of control behaviors have to change playmates and play places. And so if you're unwilling to do that, you're unwilling to change. Now, if you cannot make changes in your life, then you need professional help. Get professional help. That might be how you stop masturbating. It's just finding out why and getting honest. Okay, number 3, if you have a secret, you got to stop the secret. Because the secret is the fuel that's driving your masturbation. No one knows you were sexually abused, or you had a same-sex encounter, or you had an encounter with an animal or an object. No one knows what you've done or had done to you. No one knows the things that mom or dad said to you that broke your heart. You're keeping secrets, and that's keeping you in a place where your soul's agitated and it's wanting to get medicated so they can escape that whole feeling of, if someone really, really knew me, they wouldn't love me. And if that's you, you gotta tell your secret. Now, if it's something deep, dark, and scary, you wanna tell someone safe, maybe a religious leader, a spiritual leader, or a counselor, okay? And if it involves a minor now, a counselor's gonna have to report that. So you have to be really sensitive of the things you need to share. But you need to let someone know what's going on with you. You can't break out of control behaviors with secrets. I've never seen it done. Okay, next, how about retraining the brain? Let's do it. Get a rubber band, put it on your wrist. Every time you think about pornography, fantasy, or you're checking out everyone's body, take it, snap it, boom. Now you got ring the bell, spank the dog, spank the dog, spank the dog. Instead of rewarding it for lust and moving you towards masturbation, you can shut it down at the thought. If you have a spiritual background, use some spiritual material to support that. But you want to definitely neurologically shut down the conditioned response cycle. You can do that today. I've seen people shut down 80% of their fantasy and scanning within 30 days of just simply using the rubber band. That might be your key to stop masturbating today. Okay? Next thing, accountability. Yes, have someone you tell when you masturbate. That's what stopped me. I've been clean for over 35 years. You can be clean too. I haven't masturbated in 35 years, and I have a polygraph on my wall verifying my freedom from masturbation and pornography. I'm not blowing smoke at you. I've helped thousands and thousands of men and women stop masturbating. Okay? And we have lots of books. If you go to sexaddict.com, you'll see lots of materials there to help you. But accountability instantaneously changes the secret game. You masturbate in secret, nobody knows. If you're thinking about masturbation and you call your accountability partner or friend, say, hey, I'm thinking about it, you'll stop, you'll slow down, because you'll get your relationship needs met. You don't need to go to fantasy world. You can talk about your feelings, which is another thing we'll talk about. But having that accountability can really help. Next, talk about your feelings. What are you feeling before you masturbate? Look at that. Is it the same thing? Is it sadness? Is it boredom? That one gets a lot of people. Is it alone? That's another big trigger. Once you can master your emotions, you can stop masturbating. There's a great book called Emotional Fitness, okay? And it can teach you how to have your feelings and how to switch your feelings. So if you're feeling alone, you can actually feel loved. You can switch your feelings with feelings, but you have to be trained to do that. That book helps you with that. See, it may be as simple as you are not managing your feelings. So when you feel lonely or bored, you go close the door and you masturbate. And it takes the feeling of bored away or alone away, and it satiates you chemically so you don't have to feel. But the problem is you don't get any better at feelings, Because if you're addicted to masturbation and or pornography, you're actually emotionally staying somewhere between 13 and 15 years old. So feelings overwhelm you, so you masturbate. Well, if that's your cycle, you can stop that cycle by learning how to become emotionally developed and involved and strong and in control of your emotions. Okay? Consequences. That's another thing people have never thought of. Hey, why don't I set a consequence for this? If I do that, I'll go do leg lunges for half a mile or push-ups, or I will go and serve in some way. Okay? As a way of connecting, hey, I want this behavior out of my life and I'm serious about wanting this behavior out of my life. And again, this tape's not about an assessment about masturbation, okay? But their masturbation, if you're watching this, it's out of control. How to bring it in control? Well, you can set up a consequence. Okay, if I masturbate, then I'm going to have this behavior in my life for this amount of time so that I can get this behavior not in a situation where it's out of control in my life. Okay, and for most people who struggle here, just like they do with alcohol or drugs or gambling or overeating, they're going to have to manage this for quite a while or for the rest of their life. So those are some things that you can do today to start the process. Go to sexact.com, check out other resources, do subscribe so that you can see all the other resources we have for you. Do make comments. We'd love to hear from you. Listen, I've been free for over 35 years. You don't have to masturbate. I've worked with men and women who've masturbated for 20, 30, 50 years, and they're free today. You can be one of those. Start your journey. If you need to call my office, 719-278-3708. We want to help you. You do not have to have this behavior in your life after today, but you can't keep doing what you're doing and expect change to happen in your life. So take some of these ideas, apply them today, and start your journey today and stop masturbating today.